G'day mates, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video, I want to start off talking about this new ridiculous 50-man endgame practice game mode that looks like it's pretty much going to revolutionize how we practice Fortnite. We've been asking about this for years, a way to just simulate endgame, not like creative zone wars, just jumping into an actual stacked endgame. And with the new update with Fortnite last night, now allowing creative to go up to 50 players, people are making maps that are doing just that. It looks ridiculous. So I want to talk about some of the best maps, some of the improvements that can be made on them, and how you can play them as well, because this is seriously going to be some of the best practiced out there right now. Pretty much all the pros today are running this instead of scrims, and it's just super fun as well. I also want to finish off today's video talking about a topic I'm sure you guys are all expecting: a whole bunch of pros getting banned before heats, so now they can't play heats and grand finals. And I'm talking big teams. I'm talking teams like ThomasHD are getting banned for leaving the game early, but they're now revealing clips showing that they maybe shouldn't be banned. So I want to look into all that because it is changing things up massively, and so many pros are now being accused of this and hoping they don't get banned as well. Just letting you guys know, I actually made a second YouTube channel because a whole bunch of you guys have been asking for viewing party stream highlights, YouTube shorts, and just a whole bunch of other content that isn't my usual daily news videos. You know me, I love grinding the YouTube content, so subscribe to my second channel. It'll be the first link in the description. It's called Extra Antics. I'm posting there every single day on top of the daily uploads on this channel. Don't worry, I'm not going to drop the daily uploads. I'm going to be doing both because I love you guys that much. So last night's update on first glance didn't look that exciting. We got told that in version 15.50 we were going to get the hand cannon heads back to the vault while another item returns. Spread the news. It ended up just being the rapid fire SMG. People didn't really care that much, but the second one, and I didn't really think what this was going to mean at the time, but we got told that new island size in creative and localized featured creative hub support. I was like, okay, cool, more creative changes, whatever. It's going to be a whole bunch of new stuff that no one's really going to use. But no, they've now open creative up to having 50 players, so you can now make maps that 50 people can queue into, which has massive potential. Now we've had a whole bunch of people make some maps that the pros are playing, which is zone wars like we saw before with 16 players, but with 50, so it's more stacked. You can have high ground, low ground, mid ground. It's really, really awesome. First thing I want to say though, the current maps are a little bit iffy because this only just came out. A bunch of the map builders put them together in a few hours. There's ones with pumps, there's ones with shockwaves. I'll put a link in the description down below for the one that I've seen a bunch of the EU pros using today that looks like the best, but there are some common glitches. Sometimes people aren't spawning without mats. There's a massive frame drops. It does get a bit laggy, but that is what creative map builders were able to do in a few hours. Can you imagine with like weeks or days of practice what they can make on this? If they can make a map that doesn't need as much rendering to load, so they can keep the frame drops down, they can work on spawning in actual inventories that you would use in endgame. It's just going to be ridiculous. Like, I'm not kidding. There will be entire discords made just for this. I promise you, there'll be tournaments for this. There will be everything. If they can make maps that don't lag with proper loadouts, this is, I'm not going to say it's going to replace scrims because obviously you want to play early and mid game, but think about all the regions like OCE, for example, that are really small, that have to do end game scrims, which makes the first 20 minutes pointless. You hope you don't get griefed by an idiot 5 minutes into end game and then you go down. Imagine just queuing straight into the end game part and getting to practice it. Whether it's even not the best practice, this looks like so much fun. I genuinely have not been this excited for an addition to the game in quite a while. So I really hope that the map makers get behind this one and make some solid maps. I'm sure they will. I know they're already scrambling to make them too, because whoever makes the best map of this first is going to get so much attention on it. But I want to know what impact this is going to have on scrims. If you're working on practicing only your end game, you're probably going to start doing these over scrims if they make a good map. If the zone's too kind of, I don't know, choreographed, if you know exactly where it's going to go, if you're playing with people who aren't taking it seriously and they're going to burn 1500 mats just cranking for high ground being idiots, it'll be annoying. But if you can get proper groups of people together like pros, or even running a tournament where people are trying to win it like a game, not just psychoing into boxes, this is going to be absolutely phenomenal. Bit of an update that I've got to add in after this. I fully recorded the video, but I've come back because I've just checked Twitter and we have Advith posting that I've had a 50-player Zone Wars map that was last backed up 295 days ago because me and Basis FN finished it back then. And the part that sucks is how, because Enigma is partnered with Epic, he's the only one allowed to have 50 people on his map. My map is legit updated too. And then he tweeted below that, FN Create, can you guys help me out please? And thank you, my map is. And he linked the map. I don't really know much about creative map making. I didn't didn't realize only certain people are able to make these maps. I don't fully agree with that. I feel like it should be open to everyone. I'm sure Fortnite has their reasons. That could potentially slow down or maybe hinder how many people can make a really solid map. I know Enigma makes really, really good maps, and he has in the past, so I have full faith in him to make a good map. But if you're wondering why maybe you can't make a map, I just thought I'd include that, as I didn't know that's how creative works. I actually DM'd Enigma because I've talked to him quite a bit in the past, because I used to love running on his maps all the time. So I'd give him feedback, and he was really good about kind of adjusting the maps based on community feedback. So I think he is going to make a phenomenal map. And he did mention some of those issues that I already talked about. He said the tricky part is just stability and performance. The maps might have to be pretty minimalistic to run properly. So it looks like he knows there are some issues there. It's not just the map. I think creative does have some constraints. I mean, we know that even Fortnite's main game servers sometimes can't run 50 people endgame. So a zone war creative is going to be pretty intense. But I think if the map is made well, this could be really, really viable. We don't even have to have the full 50. Even if you could do a 30 or 40 man endgame, would still be really, really good practice. Now, moving on to all the competitive bans that we've seen recently, we have 3 teams that have currently been banned or disqualified. So I'm going to talk about the difference between those in a second on EU so far. So the first ban we saw was Vortex's team. They were banned for 14 days for intentionally leaving the game. And if you don't know what that ruling is, basically it's when you leave match deliberately. And often I always thought it was if it negatively impacts another team, because there's a lot of times teams in tournaments are like, oh man, we've only got 5 minutes to queue, we'll just leave, and no one's around. It doesn't seem to affect anyone. But based on some of these clips, it looks like you just can't leave the game in general for any reason. You have to die in the game. So I guess it's kind of weird. You see a lot of players building up and jumping off now because that's somehow different. I guess the distinction is you didn't leave. You could have just said that you fell. I don't know. It's weird. But what we're focusing on is Vortex's team got banned for 14 days for intentionally leaving the game. Now we've seen ThomasHD, Flick, and Anas also get banned or maybe disqualified. I'll talk about that soon. And then we have Toose, Putrick, and Snappy's team also getting banned for 14 days, which obviously means none of these teams can play in the heats or the grand finals unless it's a disqualification. Now, a lot of people are talking because Flick, Anas, or ThomasHD, I can't remember who it was, actually tweeted out that it looked like they'd been disqualified, not banned. And if they were disqualified from their heat, from their qualifying round, they would still make it into heats, because with their consistency points alone from the other 2 qualifiers, they still made it. And now that's where the distinction is. And a lot of teams are freaking out because some people didn't get disqualified. They got straight banned. So if you actually look at Vortex's Twitter, he put up a tweet showing that he had been banned in game. Same as Toose's team as well. But for some reason, Anas, ThomasHD, and Flick have received a disqualification potentially. We don't know. I guess they could be banned, and it's a little bit different. We haven't had any word from Epic yet, and until the official heats list goes out, which we think is going to happen in the next few days, we won't really know. But I want to look at some of these clips and show you kind of what the difference was and what happened, because Toose has actually come out with a clip that originally when he left the game, I talked about this in a video recently, and I said that I don't really know if I think he should be banned, because what happened was Benji Fishy's team is pushing him. They get headshot sniped out of the car. They walk up. They go to shake down Toose, and Toose leaves. But actually now the clip shows that Toose left before he was even being shaken down, because he was just frustrated. He wasn't trying to deny Benji Fishy's team any advantage from the shakedown. He was just annoyed and left, and his whole team got wiped anyway. So him leaving had no impact. I fully understand why Epic still wants to act on this. They still want to enforce their rules, because it is a rule that you can't intentionally leave the game. But when you watch it, you can't help but feel bad that they are getting banned for something that had really no impact. So I'll show you the clip.
А куда? Ну, блять, классика, нахуй.
Держи, я ребутаю.
Давай, давай.
Ты сломал. Ну, все, пиздец.
Блять,
я понял. Фулл грифить надо. Ты чилишь?
Ну, так.
Пожить надо.
Не могу. На боксе они втроем. Я бокс вдвоем помню.
Я просто бегаю.
Я умер.
Найс.
Ой, блять, я ливнул случайно, нахуй.
Now, if we compare that to the clip that Blackie posted of ThomasHD's team leaving the game, it looks a lot worse. ThomasHD pushes a bush and he literally leaves the game as they're trying to shake him down, and then his teammate also leaves to deny them the extra elimination point, which is even more strange, and I would definitely argue that is against the rules and had a big impact on the games. Even though the tournament wasn't for any money, you have to say that that negatively impacted the team, where Toose's situation's a little bit different. So I'll show you their clip as well. My final thoughts on the situation are, I'm happy Epic is enforcing their rules. I'm happy that they are stepping up and really are making a stance on these kind of things. I think it's super unfortunate for Toose's team that, again, it didn't have any impact on the game, but at the end of the day, you can't argue what they did was breaking the rules, and players have known for the longest time that leaving a game intentionally, leaving a game early, is against terms of service. A lot of them are arguing and posting that when it happened in the past with teams like Aqua, they got a warning. Why aren't we getting a warning? And I understand that frustration as well. I fully get why the players are frustrated, and I fully understand why so many pros are defending them, saying this is ridiculous. But at the end of the day, you can't help but argue what they did was against the rules. They knew it was against the rules, and whether it impacted the other team or not, it's still against the rules. So I feel really bad for them. It sucks that, especially with some of these teams, we're going to be losing some of the best teams in EU potentially playing in the heats. There is hope that some of them still might be playing like ThomasHD's team when the heats come out, but it is a situation that just does kind of suck for the players. But ultimately, going forward, I like that Epic is enforcing their rules, and they're really trying to solidify this as more of an esport, like another esport would action this, and there would be no question. Alright guys, that does it for another video. If you liked it, please chuck a like on it. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Also, check out Extra Antics. Again, link in the description down below. My second channel, going to be posting a bunch of content there. Thank you for all your support. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one.